Most people treat urgency like it's a priority system. It isn't. When everything is a level 10, nothing gets done. By the end of this video, you'll have a filter that fixes that. Let's begin by talking a little bit about urgency. Now, urgency is a signal, and that signal is meant to mean this thing matters right now. The problem that we have is in this day and age, it feels like everything is urgent. And when everything is urgent, we're driven to reactive behavior. So something gets put right in our face and we're like, oh crap, this is important because there's an urgency, like I need to act on this by tomorrow. So we like hard right or hard left. And yet these hard right, hard left tasks that carry this level 10 urgency might not actually be something that moves the needle. So what ends up happening is the true progression that we're after doesn't materialize. On top of this, this can be quite overwhelming if you think about it. We are constantly running, we're in this fight or flight, boom, 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 and we get anxiety, we're wore out, and when something that's not urgent, it disappears, we're so tired that we can't truly act on something important. But let's take a little bit of a reframe about this. As mentioned, it's time to reframe this thing. Let's establish a simple fact. Urgency and importance are not one and the same. They are two separate things. And this is the cost of reactive living, right? So when we have something come to us that has this urgency, it's a level 10, and we're like, oh shit, I gotta get this done. When we pause, we might find that, hey, this honestly isn't that urgent. I could get to this task like a week from now, a month from now, a day from now, later on today. It's not like I need to attack this right freaking now. The other thing, establishing now that urgency and importance are two separate things, it might not actually be all that important. Like, it might seem like that, but like, I'm sorry, the Amazon day, or Prime Day, sorry, might not honestly be all that important. It feels urgent, it feels important. We're like, oh, we got to get the deals, there's shit we need for the house, we got to get on it. But then we're like, maybe not. Or, you know, it could be any other task. It could be at work, it could be a honeydew, who knows? But when we pause and we see that, and this is why nothing meaningful gets done when we have these combined, and that's simply the consequence of reactive living. But with that said, how do we make a shift? Like, what's a system we can use to start dividing these two and recognize them for what they are and help us to make better decisions and truly move the needle in our lives? We've established importance versus urgency now. Let's talk about a system to be able to break down a task when it's put in front of us. Now, this is something that I've been personally using for a lot of years. I got it from, first it was like a synopsis, but it came originally from a book, and it's a system that Stephen Covey presented. I don't know exactly where he got it, but that is where I heard it was, or learned from it, was Stephen Covey stuff. And it's like an importance versus urgency matrix. So we have four categories. We have important, not urgent, important, urgent, not important, urgent, not important, not urgent. So as you'd imagine, we have this hierarchy. Everything meets one of these four quadrants. Now, we want to spend the bulk of our time over in important, not urgent. These are the true meaningful game changer tasks in our life. They're going to truly move that needle. Unfortunately, there are things that are a little bit more urgent and they are important. There are things that must get handled and in a certain timely manner by a very specific short-term due date. And so we need to attack those first, but these should be a lower number of tasks than this other corner. Now, on the bottom, we have not important, urgent, not important, not urgent. As you would guess, we are going to strike like 99% of not important, not urgent from our list. When something's presented and it meets that criteria, you know, sorry, it's not happening. Then, not important, urgent, that might be something when we have some free time and it's something that would blow off steam. Yeah, like we might attack those, but we're going to focus on that top tier of important, urgent, important, not urgent. And when you put everything through that lens, it's crazy how often something might come to you and it feels like a 10, but when you evaluate, you might say, when I look at this matrix, this is a 2. Let it go. So the system, in theory, it's honestly pretty simple when you break it down. You simply just pose those 2 questions and say, where does this land? And it's honestly proven to be quite successful, at least for me, and I'm sure it would be for you. Now, bringing it all in, this system is not about caring less or being cold to people. This system is to help you determine what is truly urgent or important and to pull yourself out of the reactive living and to push that needle towards those goals and those things that you truly want in life. Now, if you made it to this point in the video, I truly appreciate it. And I recommend that you keep this journey going and you check out this video right up here in the corner. And it's going to talk a little bit more about fine-tuning some of those good old decision-making skills and helping you to break this cycle. And with that, y'all, better every day.